Welcome back to SITECH Intermountain SiteVision training videos. In this video for SiteVision, I want to show you the function that is recording stockpiles. So I've got two that I'm going to do out here. This one, which is quite a bit smaller, not a very big pile, pretty straightforward pile, and then I've got another one out there in the distance that I'm going to measure up. I want to show you how to do it using both the GPS option and the LiDAR option, because I am going to use my iPhone Pro that has the LiDAR option on it. If you don't have LiDAR, it's not a big deal. You can still shoot it with the pole, just like you would using SiteWorks and your TSC7 or 5, whatever tablet you have. So let's go ahead and get started on shooting that pile. All right, now that I've got my SiteVision app running, you can see that I still have the same design from the last time we did some stuff out here, which means I'm inside the building right here. I'm inside the structure. I'm going to go ahead and turn the transparency down a little bit, and I'm going to turn off my surfaces down here. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to just turn off the entire line work for a minute. So to get started on this pile right here, you can hit this button at the bottom. It looks like a menu, and there's going to be quite a few things that come up. Each one of these I'm going to do a video for, but the one I want to start with right now is right in the middle, which is it looks like a stockpile, kind of a dome. If I click on that, there's a menu that comes up right here at the bottom that starts with, am I going to use GNSS or do I want to use LiDAR? So right now I can go ahead and start with the base, and we'll start a couple points with GPS, which means I am using the actual rod height, because a lot of people that use SiteVision have just a short pole, so it's more or less just out here to look around. But if I am going to measure with the actual pole, rod height correct, and an actual measurement to where the camera is on my phone in relation to the pole. So what I can do is come over here, and just like you would shoot it with any other device, even if you were using a rover, you just go ahead and click after you level up on the bottom right there, and you simply draw your line string for a base. Start with the base, and I'll show you after a couple more points what it's actually doing behind me. So after I do that and I spin around, you can see it's drawing a base all the way around here. Now that's shooting as GPS. If I want to go ahead and hit this arrow and hit LiDAR, now it won't work using the camera and the LiDAR on the phone if I go up too high. You can see that that's basically out of range, and that's why it turned red. But what I can do now is I can step back and actually angle the camera down and record points using just the camera on the phone. It's still got a GPS position because I still have the GPS receiver on. You can do it two different ways here. So we'll come and we'll hit one more out here. Now to finish that out, you hit this arrow on the right side and it finishes the base out. So you can see that all the way around. Now it automatically set up to where we can start shooting the top. So I can either do the same thing with GPS or LiDAR. Maybe what we'll do is climb up here and shoot a couple points first with the pole, and we'll use this ramp as kind of an example for using LiDAR. So right here I'm going to set up, start shooting as many points as I need. I've always taught everybody doing stockpiles, the more points the better. I mean, if you think about using a drone, it's going to come out with millions of points, and we may come out with, 30. The more the better. So as I show you, as I zoom back, you can see that it's not necessarily drawing a perfect line string everywhere I go. Every time I add a point, it's actually just putting in a point and triangulating to it itself. So coming off of GNSS and going to LiDAR, it'll make more sense what I was saying if I back up and shoot some points right here. Now you can turn that transparency off to see what you're pointing at. If I go full bore with it, it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to slide it back a little bit so I can see with my camera. And every time I hit a point, it kind of triangulates. So see that line right there where it kind of missed? That's another reason why you want to pay attention. But it's really neat to come in here and I can just add them wherever I need them, and it's not like line strings are going to cross over each other. So at this point, continuing to use LiDAR, I'm going to just take as many as I need to kind of fill in the dimension right here. It's pretty flat on the top, but this ramp right here got a little bit of ins and outs on it. So I'm going to just point it out there and shoot in some. There again, the more the merrier. I think we got a pretty good stockpile right there, so I'm going to turn up the transparency there to kind of show you what we've got, and then turn it back to show you what we've got. Pretty neat, right? As soon as you're done and you feel like you've got everything you need, all the shots taken, there's this check mark right to the side. You go ahead and hit the check mark and it'll let you name it. So that's volume 1, it defaults to that. We can just call it pile 1. We'll go ahead and hit finish. Now it's done, so I'm not tied to anything. You can see my cursor, there's no lines tied to it anymore. You can view it. If you want to go ahead and just see what the volume is, all you do is touch anywhere on the screen and it'll show you. So we got a fill of 26 cubic yards, a perimeter of 77 feet, and the base surface area. So whatever you're looking for out of that, if you're looking for a perimeter is one thing, but I got another video I'll show you on that. There's the base and there's how many cubic yards is there. So you can either change it, edit it, or you can delete it right here at the bottom. If you needed to get rid of it, there is a delete option. So we can go ahead and just to show off kind of what it's doing here. As you walk around, you will see that every once in a while you're seeing part of the pile, and that's just because as you come around, it's just an image. The other neat part is if you wanted to see where this pile was in relation to your job site, go back to your layers and just simply turn all the layers back on for the project. Once again, we are inside the building, so let me step outside of it. It's right through the middle of the wall right here. So if we step in, that's technically inside the building, and that's outside the building. And you can see how close we are to finished grade right here. So if I lift this button up right here and go ahead and hit this button, which is kind of the cut fill looking button, I can come over to the side and go to GNSS, and I can set right down next to the pile, and I can click that right there, and it'll tell me, okay, my ground surface that's running in the background with my pole height of 6.562, I've got a cut of 8 feet right here. The reason for that is if you look close, this is where the loading dock is. So I'm actually standing in the loading dock. As you can see, it drops down from that red line in. This is hanging outside of that. Loading dock runs all the way back here. Okay, let's go ahead and shoot in a bigger pile. Like you can see this one right here, pretty straightforward, pretty nice flat top, nice edges. The intention of these videos is just to give you how it works and what its capabilities are. You guys can go do piles like that one if you want, but that one doesn't look like any fun right now. So we're gonna do this one. So what I'm gonna do is go back in, lift up that bar, hit this stockpile option, and we are good to go. I can switch in between GPS or LiDAR. I'm gonna just go ahead and take a bunch of shots along the bottom right here as GPS, because I gotta walk there anyways. Where I think the LiDAR will really help is when you're shooting side slopes, which I will shoot some points along the side of this. It makes it to where you don't have to walk it, where with any traditional GPS receiver, you would actually have to get your pole there. That's one beauty of the LiDAR. You don't have to get your pole right to the actual slope. As long as you're within range of the LiDAR and the camera, it'll allow you to take those shots from a distance. As you can see, I've got a boundary that's actually following me now. Once I've got my shots all the way around, you can see the boundary that followed me. So at this point, now we can go ahead and hit the next button, which is the arrow to the right, which closes out that boundary and makes it to where it wants me to shoot everything on the inside. Here's what I did want to show you is right back here, I'm going to turn the transparency down. There was a couple spots right there. You can see there's some holes where it's not going to come out way great. So that's where, without actually having to walk to that point, I'm going to go ahead and hit this arrow and put it on LiDAR, and I'm going to take a shot with LiDAR. As soon as that turns white, I can go ahead and take it. Now I can fill that gap in down there. So I can walk along the top right here, shoot it with the LiDAR. Don't even have to get out on the edge if I don't want to. Once again, my video is to just show you what it can do. So I'm not physically having a line string that has to follow me. It does triangulate from point to point, but yeah, got to pay attention, because sometimes if you miss a corner, it's going to actually triangulate a little bit different than you want to. Now here, we're off the side of the pile right here. I've got some spots that kind of indent in and out. You can just stand up top here, fill those in. While I'm here, I can just make sure behind me that everything's good. It's kind of a low spot there. Like I said in the beginning of this video, more shots the better. Maybe down here what I'll do is just switch back to GPS. Take a couple more on the bottom here. Gotta have my pole straight up and down. That's why the camera all of a sudden faces out. Cool. As soon as we're done, turn the transparency up. Go ahead and hit the check mark. It's got pile 1-1, no problem. We can just leave it at that and hit finish. So we have a finished pile. Now over there, you can see off to the right, it looks like you're seeing the pile and you're wondering, well, did it really miss that or not? Well, let's just walk over there. Sometimes it's just the angle, literally just the angle where you're standing as it lays it out there, but they were still GPS actual points on the ground. So there's that ramp up to the pile. Let's see how much it is. There we go. It's 800 yards. That's ironic that it came out exactly 800. No cut because of the base of the floor didn't fluctuate. Perimeter, base surface area. You can escape out of that. You can turn on the layers again for the whole project and see how it lays out for the whole. Right here, we're still inside the building structure, so you can see this also is just barely sitting inside the wall line. So there we go. You can see exactly where it lands. This one is also still inside the new loading dock right there, and there's wall line. So hopefully this video helps. If any of you are interested in using SiteVision, it's an extremely cheap option to do what we're doing. Cheap option for the receiver. It's lightweight, it's easy to carry, and it does many different things. My other videos are going to show the other functions that are in this list right here. But thank you for watching this video from SITECH Intermountain on SiteVision and measuring in stockpiles.